I'd like to take a few minutes and really just try to clear up a few misconceptions when it comes to Kanban and demand pull. It's really kind of funny how some very wrong ideas and wrong understandings about that have cropped up. The first of them is that there's something sacred about Toyota's approach. The word Kanban means something like display card or information card in Japanese, and Toyota did initially create the concept of Kanban and demand pull using a card system where cards went back and forth. Certainly is an effective way to run a demand pull process. No reason why you can't use that, but there are lots of different ways. It really doesn't matter whether the information is on a card, whether it's embedded in the container, whether it's on a printout from some computer screen, whether it's lights, whether it's people just talking to each other. It doesn't really matter. You use whatever's most effective in your situation. What matters is the underlying principle of buying things and making things when we receive a trigger that something has been sold. And we're simply replacing that and pulling that replacement quantity through the supply chain. But how the message gets from the person who knows that something needs to be pulled to the person who has to do the work of pulling really doesn't matter. But there is nothing sacred about using a card simply because Toyota did. Another misconception is that long lead time processes are not conducive to Kanban. And I would suggest to you that quite the opposite is true. If you're bringing parts or products in from China, for example, into the United States, not a particularly lean practice, and one that would very much like to dissuade you of and have an opportunity to convince you that you're better off sourcing things a lot closer to home. But if that's what you're doing, the idea that you're better off forecasting that than running a Kanban or a demand pull really is silly. Forecasting loses its accuracy the further out you go. The longer the lead time, the less forecasting is capable. The more it's going to give you bad information simply because we can forecast tomorrow a heck of a lot better than we can forecast 6 months from tomorrow. The longer the lead time, the more you need Kanban and demand pull. The idea that it's not possible with long lead times is really contrary to the truth. And the final, and perhaps the most important point, is that Kanban or demand pull is not simply another way of scheduling. It's not just another way that supply chain people can execute production orders and purchase orders. That barely skims the surface of what Kanban is really all about. Particularly manufacturing Kanbans need to be owned by production people, not supply chain people. Talked in some other videos about moving towards one-piece flow. And the Kanban is the mechanism to make that happen. The production person needs to be the one who says the smallest batch I can use is one of 100 parts, so we'll set the Kanban around that 100-piece batch and simply replace it when that one gets used. But it's his challenge, his task to figure out how to make that Kanban batch, that Kanban signal, something smaller than 100, to take it down to 90, then to figure out how to take it down to 80. Production needs to own the Kanban and take it as their challenge to continually making the Kanban smaller and smaller, moving it towards that batch of one. But the Kanban as an improvement mechanism is really owned by production, and the fact that it also serves a scheduling purpose is really just kind of icing on the cake. But it's not supply chain, it's production that owns the Kanban. Hopefully those things cleared the idea of Kanban and demand pull up for you a little bit. And I guess as a final note, I would tell you that Kanban works for everyone, at least to some degree. There is no factory I've ever seen that can't benefit from a demand pull process, at least on some of its parts in production, if not on all of them. Thank you for listening. If you would like to learn more, or if we can be of any help, you can visit us at www.bill-waddell.com. Follow me on Twitter at mfgwaddell. Waddell, or you can find us on Facebook.